After our time at the beach, we headed to a nearby park, a lovely spot nestled on a small hill. We hiked up together, enjoying the breeze. Along the way, we passed a group of French girls chatting and laughing. I smiled and said, "French girls are beautiful," and they burst out laughing, teasing me playfully. When we reached the top, the view of Nice was breathtaking. The sun was starting to dip, casting a golden glow over the city. Later that evening, we returned to the hostel. The hostel had a small shared kitchen where guests could cook their own meals. That same girl from before, the one who always looked a little lost in thought, was cooking something quietly. I went up to the room, took a shower, and came back down again. As if it were part of some unwritten rhythm, she was once again sitting on the edge of the steps at the front of the hostel, cigarette in hand. It had become her little ritual. I walked up to her and asked, "Hey, can I have a cigarette?" The truth is, I didn't really want to smoke. What I wanted was to talk to her. Without a word, she handed me a cigarette and her lighter. I took a seat beside her and asked, "Mind if I sit here?" She nodded gently, giving her quiet approval. Then I said something that had been on my mind from the very beginning. "I feel like I've seen you somewhere before." She smiled softly. "People say I look a bit like someone from Hollywood," she said, her tone light but curious. That's when it hit me. She looked so much like Zendaya. The resemblance was uncanny. That must be why I had felt that strange familiarity the first time I saw her. It was as if a face from the screen had suddenly stepped into real life. That night, she and I talked for hours. With each word, we grew closer, more comfortable, like old souls rediscovering each other. She opened up slowly, and I listened carefully. Her parents were originally from Tunisia, but she had been born in France. She held French citizenship. Her family lived in a city called Grenoble, and they owned a house there. Her parents still lived in that city while she had moved to Nice for work. And that's when it hit me. This was the same Grenoble I had randomly saved on Google Maps, without knowing why. It now felt as though fate itself had drawn me toward her. It was as if I had come looking for someone I once knew in another life. Something deeper than this lifetime connected us, or so it felt. We sat close enough for our hands to brush. There was pain behind her quiet demeanor, a sadness she carried but never fully revealed. She was hiding something, something heavy. She lived in a tiny shared room with 4 other girls, and life hadn't been easy for her. I couldn't help but wonder, if she had a home in Grenoble, why was she living in a cramped room here in Nice, working a modest job? There had to be more to her story. Just then, my Algerian friend joined us again. As always, he was dressed stylishly, like a proper actor walking onto a set. He said he was heading to the beach. I didn't want him to go alone, so I offered to join. We walked along the road by the beach, where rows of hotels and nightclubs lit up the dark with warm, glowing lights. Everything looked elegant and glamorous, clearly the playground of the wealthy. The nightlife buzzed around us with an energy so different from the quiet conversations I'd had earlier. After grabbing a quick dinner at McDonald's, we headed back to the hostel. By then it was late, and the front steps were empty, quiet for the night. Just like the day before, the next morning brought more walking, more exploring. The city of Nice had begun to feel familiar. We swam in the sea, smoked a few cigarettes, and relaxed in cozy cafes tucked between the city's charming streets. As usual, when I returned to the hostel, she was there. It felt like she had grown used to that life, to those quiet evenings. I walked up to her. She looked at me and said softly, "I'll prepare dinner with you tonight." I smiled and nodded. After a quick wash in the room, I came downstairs. She had already set the plates for both of us. There was a tiny table with just 2 little chairs, our plates almost touching. We sat together and shared our meal. Like every other night, we ended up on the staircase, sitting side by side, talking for hours. She kept looking at me, and I could feel something in her eyes, a kind of love that was slowly blooming. I told her about a Tunisian girl I once loved back when I was in Italy. She listened silently and then said, "I'd love to see her." I smiled and opened Facebook to search for the girl's profile. But I didn't have to type anything. Her name appeared right at the top of my search bar. She asked for my phone and started browsing through the profile. While she looked, I lit a cigarette and took a slow breath. When I got the phone back, I noticed she had cleared the search history. By now, I had grown deeply attached to her. But I knew it wasn't quite love. Not yet. It was something else. Something gentle and kind, like a soul recognizing another. In Italian, there's a phrase for that kind of feeling. Ti voglio bene. It means I care for you deeply. Not romantic love, but something just as meaningful. She really looked like Zendaya. There was a unique kind of beauty in her. She told me that she was going through a lot of problems, but she never said exactly what they were. We talked for hours into the night. She listened to me with genuine interest. Sometimes when I said something, she smiled softly. I had to return to Italy the next day. I told her about it. She listened silently. Her eyes were filled with sadness and loneliness. We agreed to meet one last time in the morning, wished each other good night, and went to our rooms. That next morning, I felt I was going to say goodbye to two of the most beautiful souls I had met in my life. My friend, who had been in Nice for about 10 days, and I were both ready early in the morning and came outside the hostel. She was already there, standing in front of the hostel, dressed beautifully. In that moment, I saw a level of beauty in her that I hadn't seen before. I told her I had to go. She looked down at the ground. For some reason, she reached for my phone and looked at something. I felt so heavy at heart thinking I had to leave her alone. Driven by that sadness, I gently placed my right hand on her shoulder. She looked at me, right into my eyes. Because of the connection I felt toward her, I softly caressed her shoulder. Though she didn't say a word, I felt her eyes telling me not to leave. Still, I said goodbye and left. My friend walked with me to the bus. To this day, he and I are still good friends. But where is she now? What is she doing? I don't know. Is she happy? Or is she sad? I don't know. The only thing I know is that my heart still wishes for her happiness, wherever she may be.